Carrie Sherburne, a marketing consultant to recruiting firm PrintLink, and I'm here today with Chris Manley, who is the president of Graphco. Chris, welcome. So first of all, tell us a little bit about the company, Graphco.
Very brief elevator speech. My dad founded our company in 1976. We were a spinoff from a once proud company called Addressograph Multigraph, which frankly was the equivalent of Xerox back in the day. And we morphed into a printing equipment company in the mid 80s, and I joined the company at that time. Currently, we are the distributor for about 19 states in the United States for RMGT, which is the Ryobi MHI Graphic Technologies printing presses. We also sell Horizon finishing equipment for about 9 states, and we sell a lot of other equipment as well, but those are probably our 2 main product lines.
Talk a little bit about how your business has been doing during the pandemic.
In our state, in Ohio, we were recognized as an essential business from day one, which I think was a blessing. Some of my colleagues that have similar businesses in other states where they were not deemed essential really did have a much more significant lag on their ability to not only meet their customers' needs, but also to continue to prospect and try to maintain their momentum. We during the pandemic, we've been blessed to install a 10-color RMGT press at Advertisers Printing down in St. Louis, and that installation has gone beautifully. I could talk for 20 minutes about the advantages that those folks have enjoyed, but I'm not going to bore your viewers with that, Carrie. But we've also got an 8-color going in right now in Columbus, Ohio, at a company called Watkins Printing, and we really sold 6 or 8 finishing systems that were actually very substantial. Book printers in particular, on the finishing end of things, have done tremendously well. I think, in my opinion, people are actually sick and tired of their computers and of Netflix and of the whole thing of having to stay in your home, and all of a sudden ordering a book seems like a pretty good idea. So these book printers seem to be doing quite well right now. The commercial printers that we've sold to, and it's not just the new equipment, but also a lot of tech support and spare parts. A lot of these folks are very involved in direct mail, and that has been a tremendously strong part of the print market during the last 8 or 9 months during Corona. So
with business growth usually comes the need to hire people. So can you talk a little bit about your strategy there?
When we're looking for folks that are either in sales or service in the graphic arts field, we formed a great alliance with PrintLink, and in particular a gentleman named Arnie Khan, who has helped us, I believe, hire, it might be 5 people over the last 3 or 4 years. And what I love about that engagement is that, first of all, Arnie's been in the business a long time, so he kind of knows the real from the Memorex, as it were, because looking at people's resumes with big name companies all over them, that doesn't really help me. I mean, I find that his ability to kind of weed out the folks that we would not want to take up time interviewing and bringing really just the really qualified candidates, that's been a big advantage.
And so of those 5 people, then they've all worked out pretty well for you?
Yeah, they have. And one of the technicians actually that Arnie found for us with 2 days of search has really become a tremendous asset, and has already been to Japan twice for training at the RMGT factory, and had worked for Heidelberg originally, so he certainly knows which end of the press the paper goes in. But he's got a very high IQ, and that's a lot more important with a technical person than I think it used to be. All of this, certainly the RMGT equipment, is basically robotics if you really come down to it. I mean, these are the same caliber of technicians that would work for an ABB or for a Eaton Corporation or someone else that's doing systems automation. And I mean, that's the kind of people that we need to hire. The days of greasing and oiling and sort of fixing a broken thing, that's our machines don't break that way. Our machines might need, very highly technical adjustment or or integration work, but you know, and that's the kind of caliber of technician that we need. So.
And 2 days, that's amazing.
We were very lucky, and he and I think he started about a week and a half later and went to an install for his very first day on the job. So I drove down because we did meet before we hired him, of course, but I drove down to that install just, you know, feeling like if this is going to be your onboarding day, at least you ought to see the boss or whatever. So
yeah, a little moral support there.
Right.
So as you you know, think about your colleagues, your peers out in the industry, whether they're service providers or folks like you, or even manufacturers, what would you say to them about using a firm like PrintLink?
As owners or as management people, our time is really all we have. So to spend 3 or 4 days out of your life trying to look through monster.com or something at a bunch of resumes that all look great, you know, no one ever did a bad resume. And how do you decide, are you going to even take time to meet with that person?
Plus, they know a lot of people in the industry, so, you know, that makes a big difference too.
And I kind of hate to say it, but they also know the people that do have a job, but are maybe a little bit less than happy. And, you know, we are a great place to work and we're growing like a weed. So I think that there are folks that might even be with some of these bigger outfits that 5 years ago would have been like the safest place to be. Well, in the middle of Corona, a big, huge company is the same kind of company that's going to do whatever they call it, an RIF or whatever. And all of a sudden 20 guys who used to have really good jobs have no job. And I'd like to be able to pick from those people before they lose their job rather than, you know, after the riff happens.
You know, it's a really good story, and I'm glad that your business is doing well. And I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you so much, Carrie.